Somebody once said you gotta give your all, so I stood on the roof and I sold my soul. After that I went and took it back. Here I am, got my life back.
Hey, happy new moon. I am really excited about this new moon because for me, this almost feels like the beginning of 2015. 2015 is going to be such a powerful year. And what we do during the lunar period between now and the next new moon is really going to have a powerful effect on how the rest of the year unfolds for us. So it's a very, very important month. And it is a lot of Aquarian energy to help support us with this. Aquarius energy is very future reaching. It's asking us to make our lives better. It's asking us to upgrade our lives. It's asking us to look at, with a dispassionate and objective point of view, where we are being triggered on an unconscious level so that we can push through those blocks and make the intention for what we are actually trying to create for 2015. That is really the essence of this new moon period, which begins tomorrow, Tuesday, at 0 degrees Aquarius at 11 or 10, hold on here, at 8:14 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. So this is the 4th out of 5 consecutive 0 degree sign new moons, which is very archetypically significant, I believe. The first was in October with the 0 degree Scorpio new moon. Then we had the Sagittarius 0 degree new moon in November, December 0 degree Capricorn, and of course January 0 degree Aquarius, and then February will be the final consecutive new moon in this time period at 0 degrees Pisces. So this, just feel it, new beginnings, new beginnings. And then of course, not of course, because many of you don't know this, but we have this big Uranus square Pluto, and these two archetypal planets in any kind of platonic 90 degrees conjunction, opposition, are reflective historically of major and monumental revolutions, rebellions, changes in the system. And we are in one of those times. The conjunction that this is a first quarter square crises in action for began in the 60s, and now we're taking stock at what seeds were planted at that time. I'm rushing to get through this, so that we can move forward so anything that the square in the last 2.5 years has triggered is extra powerful. And we have the final pass of this square, at which time we'll spend a few years integrating in March. But right now, the square has been triggering the nodes. So Pluto has been squaring the nodes since January 8th until this new moon, and then on the day of the new moon and the day after, we have Uranus on the south node. So this is asking us to really collectively look at where we've come and where we want to go, what we need to release, what we need to destroy, what changes have to happen. So all of the upsets and the drama and the intensity of what we've been going through in the last few years serves partly to really bring to our attention what is wrong and what needs to be changed. And now we're reaching a climactic point of that. We've had enough, and this has just got to change. And then we'll spend the next few years, creating the change. So the intentions we set for this change are critical. Squirrels. There may be squirrels, there may be foxes, there may be bears, there may be mountain lions. It's really fun living right next to the mountains in Boulder, Colorado. Okay, so, and this happens individually and collectively, because when we look out the window, there's so much beauty. I have so much love in my life, but there's so much wrong in the world. And we can blame and point fingers and say, why God, and why is this way? But the bottom line is every single one of us, without exception, must be part of taking personal responsibility in the change, because whatever is out there, we have an influence on. It reflects us, all of us, in some way. We're working individually, we're working together. So we have a lot of control over our individual lives. We are all sort of waking up to where we have been shackled and where we want to be liberated and where we want to live in a more authentic sense of beingness. But then there are limits. There are the rules of the game. That's just the way the game is played. There's the governmental rules. There's how other people live their lives. There's what they need. There's what you need. There's what they do and how it affects you, and vice versa. So it's all a balance. And one of the secrets of astrology towards how you can use this tool towards personal growth and enlightenment, or as Thomas Campbell, one of my favorite modern day philosophers, would say, we're growing up towards more and more love. So how does astrology help? Well, it's a tool for understanding at least what we can do with our individual lives. What is our energetic makeup most conducive to? How is the environmental energetic flow affecting us? How can we use that information to make the right choices, to become more clear, to understand where the unconscious patterns that are bubbling up can be released, So this month is could be very triggering, with Uranus on the south node. I'm not sure it gets too much more intense than that. Now, when we come up on March is going to be one of the hot spots of the year, as possibly September. They're two really busy months. And March is when we have the final pass of this big Uranus square Pluto that's been going on since 2012. At the same time, we have Mars triggering and igniting that square, being conjunct Uranus. We have Mars also trining Jupiter. We have Saturn moving retrograde, and then the equinox in that month is actually a total solar eclipse. So that's going to be a pretty busy month. And I don't think we're going to have much time to think much after that. It's like what happens in January and February and sets the stage for the rest of the year. And luckily, in this lunar month, we have a Mercury retrograde to assist us in stepping back and very objectively and dispassionately considering our lives, considering where we want to upgrade, considering where we're still stuck in unconscious collective individual patterns of, behavior that are just holding us back, where we're still being children and immature and greedy and selfish and self-centered and, out of balance. And every time, every little bit of that is contributing towards every little bit of that we see outside of ourselves as well. So on the day after this new moon, Mercury does go retrograde. However, it did, and it's going to go back to 1 degree Aquarius. It's going to stay in the sign of Aquarius, and then it's going to move forward and go direct again on February 11th. But the thing is that February 11th, it's going to be at 1 degrees, and then it'll move back to the point where it went retrograde on March 4th. So that was probably really confusing. Let me rephrase that. Mercury goes retrograde on the 21st at 17 degrees. I think it's around 11 in the morning Eastern Standard Time. So it's 17 degrees on the 21st, it goes retrograde. And then it goes back to the point, it goes back to 1 degree backwards. And last time it was at 1 degrees was on January 5th. So from January 5th to now, we've actually been in the shadow of where Mercury will be traveling over retrograde. Okay, and then on that point, when it's at 1 degree, it'll be February 11th, and it'll start moving forward again, and it'll be back where it is now on March 4th. So basically the entire months of January and February are Mercury or Mercury retrograde shadow. So during this time, you couldn't get a nicer time to sit back and to reflect and to ruminate and to really think about the future. What is it that you want? What do you want for your life? What are your highest goals? Where do you want to be a better person? And any intentions you set, and the more clarity you have, the better. During this period, will have powerful, powerful outcomes by the end of 2015. You'll be very happy with 2015, even if it has some intense points. Incredibly powerful year that way. So, we are at a very karmic time in our process, and individually and collectively. So, and from January 8th till the day before the new moon, Pluto was square the nodes, and then on the new moon, Uranus is conjunct the nodes. So this is a lot of unconscious stuff coming up that is igniting what we know now has to change, or it's causing a lot of problems in our life because we're operating on a very unconscious level. We're not paying attention. We're just kind of going, wah, you know. So Mercury retrograde in Aquarius helps us to step back and very coolly and discriminate, to observe, to figure out, to be smart about it, you know. Let's be enlightened beings. Let's not be unconscious beings. So what else do I want to say here? That's what I get for rushing. Oh, I do want to mention how stressful Uranus energy is. You know, Pluto energy is stressful too, but Uranus energy is very nervous energy. I know I experience it my whole life. And the thing is we've been collectively experiencing the intensity of the nervous Uranian energy, but as it comes up on our south node, it's going to be extra strong. And it's been extra strong ever since the beginning of January. So the way people are experiencing it is a lot of nervous stress, a lot of tension. It brings headaches. There's a lot of pressure that's happening, you know, on the earth energetically, and blood pressure can go up. And what else? Blood flow gets affected for sure. Sometimes I'm crazy off the wall with energy. Other times I'm really tired. That's really common. And you know, a couple times I even thought maybe I was having a heart attack. That's how this Uranian energy can feel. So it's really important during this period of time to really calm down and breathe deeply, do a lot of stretching, because basically you want to get all of the channels that are blocked unblocked, you know, massage areas that feel tight or under pressure or blocked. You know, you can feel tingling on your skin. That's a sign of kind of Uranian blocked energy. And actually Uranus and that energy rules Kundalini. And on an individual level, we've got the serpent of Kundalini. It just wants to shoot up through our chakras, our top, you know, crown. And the thing about that is that helps clear all of the egoic, unconscious patternings that need to come out. And that's what's being pushed by this Uranus energy right now. And we're going to see it, you know, geophysically as well. There could be a lot of earth activity of a fiery nature, and also I'm expecting a lot of water because the whole Pisces thing's coming up in the new moon on Pisces. There could be a repeat of major flooding, coastlines flooding, that kind of thing. I know earthquake activity is starting up again, and it's all the same kind of thing. So it's really important to be hyper aware of how you're being affected physically, and that's also a sign that something is bothering you on other levels too. And if you can stop and really watch and move it through, this is a time where it can be released, or it can just unconsciously repeat itself and cause a lot of problems. So the problems come with not just our relationship with ourselves, but our relationship with other people, and everything around us, as you know. So let me just see if there's anything else that I want to mention here. You know, I just want to say that generally speaking, I'm really aware that we're evolving. You know, people are wanting more and more. They're just desperate for the feeling of individual and freedom and sovereignty, and living the life they want to live because they have a right to, as long as it doesn't hurt anyone else. So, but at the same time, there's so much change going on, it doesn't look like much is happening. So we are really being challenged to be in our authentic beingness, as I love to say all the time. But I think the piece that we're also being challenged right now is, and how does that work with everybody else? And what are my actions? How are my actions affecting other people, and vice versa? Because the balance and the love and the harmony comes from being very aware of both sides of the polarity, our individual authentic beingness and everybody else's. And how do we bring it together in that enlightened, integrative middle point. So this new moon period is also really highlighting that, and relationships in general because of that. And actually, in my full moon whatever this is called, vlog video, I'll talk more about the Valentine's Day yod, which is accentuating that also, which should be a lot of fun. I've got some serious background noise going on. Hikers. Talk about aggravating my self-consciousness. Noise. Anyway, I do better with silence, but I don't think I'll ever have silence in my life. So there you go. Anyway, happy new moon, everybody. Thank you so much for taking your valuable time and listening to this. And I'll see you again on the full moon. Okay, bye for now.